Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of May. I hope you're well. So I'm using the Llewellyn Tarot for you today. If you haven't seen one of these readings before, what I do for the mid-month readings is something slightly different to the main monthly ones, in so much as we are looking for the lesson. So to that end, what I will do is draw 3 cards for your current energy, see where you are at right now, and then 3 cards to see what is the lesson. What is trying to be shown to you here? You know, sometimes it's opportunities for growth, sometimes it's just, you know, laying the foundation for new things to come in, or closing out old potentially. But I see everything as a lesson. And I've found over the years that it helps me navigate what can be potentially challenging energy if I can see what I'm supposed to be learning along the way. I mean, it's a process of detachment. When you're not getting so bogged down in the emotion of something, then you can see more clearly what is trying to be achieved, right? So if that doesn't make sense, bear with me, because I'm sure it will by the end of the reading. And we'll close it out with 3 cards of advice. I'm going to try not to pull any clarifiers, but I do occasionally break my own rules, so as and when I see fit. Let's have a look. I have 3 cards for Cancer's current energy, please. Thank you. We have the Ace of Wands with the Page of Pentacles. Ooh, lovely. And we also have the Ace of Pentacles. Holy shit. And one more, please. One more, please. And good Lord, Cancer. Funny thing is, I knew that card was coming out. I could kind of see it before it dropped. What you have is the Ace of Wands with the Page of Pentacles. They came out together. And then the Ace of Pentacles. And then the Ace of Cups. Like 3 aces out of 4 cards. And the Page is a card that speaks to me about like practical endeavours towards bringing these new things in. The card at the bottom of the deck, the Shadow card, is the 4 of Wands. That is a card that speaks to me about home and joy and celebration, but not just your 4 walls. It's the way that you live. You know, it's kind of bringing celebration to you. It can be celebratory events like weddings and things like that. But it's more about those people, those situations that feel like home to you. The further meaning of this is the construction of a new foundation, and that is absolutely what is going on here, without a shadow of a doubt, Cancer. Extraordinary. So we have these 3 aces, and they cover between them, you know, your passion for life, your zeal, your creativity, the way that you choose to live. With the Ace of Wands, it is about finding a different way to do that. I sometimes see this card as the will to live, you know, really igniting that will to live. So many of us just exist most of the time, and we're not even aware that that's what we're doing. With the Page of Pentacles, I see the hierarchy of the Pentacle suit as kind of like different levels of understanding the value of something. And so with the Page, it's about understanding, newly discovering a value of something. And that can be, you know, the value of a situation. It can be your priorities, your values. And sometimes it can be self-worth, right? Truly discovering that about yourself. So then we would have a situation where you are putting yourself first for the first time, probably ever, Cancer. I can't tell you how glorious and profound these 4 cards look to me, right? And because it's Pentacles, we've got an element of the practical involved. We've got you taking actual active steps to make this happen. We have the Page of we have the Ace of Pentacles here. That is a new start in the material. It could be that you're planning on moving house, getting a new job, you know, gunning for that promotion, whatever it is. Or you can be constructing your life on entirely different parameters now, because that's what this feels to me like. It could be well talking about it. It's not about lashing yourself further to the notions of success that you held before, but understanding almost a higher truth. that you want your life to be about, you know. We've got the Ace of Cups there, open, receptive energy, just like the Queen of Cups is, you know, incredibly receptive. She is water, which is receptive, and then she's a queen, which is receptive. So we've got that double receptivity there. But the Ace of Cups is the potential for all of it. And what we've got here is absolute presentation of opportunities and potential for you to do something with. Now, the fact that you've got the Page of Pentacles there is glorious, because it's not like all of this new energy is just hitting you in the face and you're kind of floundering and not knowing what to do with it. With this page, it's kind of really understanding the possibilities of the potential for everything that is not only presented to you, but that you can bring about for yourself, because you are actively engaged in the creation of this new foundation here. Ooh, there we go, bottom of the deck. It's glorious, absolutely glorious. Let's have a look at the lesson. What is the lesson for Cancer here, please? Ooh, we have the Six of Swords. We also have the Strength card. Let's have one more, please. Thank you. And we have the Ten of Swords. Oh, I actually really love this. I'm loving the way that this reading is turning out. So the lesson here for you is in the value of moving away from those things, right, that have kept you trapped or kept you stuck. Now, for a lot of you, that is going to be thought patterns, right? Because we've got the sword suit indicated here. Sixes always indicate movement for me. And what are you moving away from? The Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords can be about verbal conflicts. It can be, you know, engaging with people who do not have your best interests at heart, you know, those ones who are committed to misunderstanding you and propagating the status quo where you are miserable, you know. But because it's thoughts and words and intellect and it's very cerebral, it's all that sort of thing there, it's about the ways in which your thinking has been faulty, right? Where you have not put yourself first, where you have elevated others' needs above your own, and you've abandoned yourself for quite a long time, right? This sees you absolutely moving away from that, and more than that, understanding the value of doing so. It's not like a, you know, a heavy-hearted kind of packing of bags and, well, I guess I'll go because I'm no longer wanted here. It's something altogether more empowered than that. It is that you are worthy, your feelings are valid, and you have been stuck in situations that have been tremendously difficult to navigate. Now, some of that is because you let yourself be there. Let's not face it. Let's not face it. Let's not, you know, not address that. But there's such a sense of freedom and liberation that are coming off all of these cards here. It's almost like your world is starting to warm up a little bit. You know, we've got all of these beautiful reds and oranges and yellows, you know. There's a vibrancy here about what it is that you are wanting your life to contain and be about, principally. Like I said, the Strength card here is all about empowerment. Sometimes it's about emotional maturity and spiritual growth too. But ultimately, it's about you really standing on your own 2 feet and leaving behind a version of yourself that required validation from other people, right? It's about that self-generating, self-directed sense of self. You have inherent value just by existing. It's not about what you do for other people. When it's coming from a place of needing validation, right? Now, the Cancer experience is an incredibly loving and giving one, but it's been driven by the wrong motivators for a long time because of what you were taught or programmed as a child to believe was the way in which you gained attention and affection and approval and love from other people, right? That seems to be a lesson that you have not only learned, but the painful aspect of which you are leaving behind. And we have the Ten of Swords. We have a completion here to the ways in which you have been hurt, or traumatized, actually, I'm going to say, by some, for some of you. Yeah. Wounded and put upon by other people. It seems like, it feels like it's been an ever-present experience for you, that ultimately everything that you put all of your, you know, love and care and attention into ultimately ends up with you feeling in this place. It's not how life is, Cancer. And there has come a point where there's been that realization awaken in you. And so it's like, what can I do to change that? How do I make myself strong? How do I withstand this? You know, and possibly it might be that you'd come to it from that kind of perspective, like, how do I get myself stronger so this doesn't hurt every single time? But as you've kind of walked along this road, so you started to see that your perceptions were ever so slightly off here. And it wasn't about how you prevent it from happening, you know, by the type of people that you spend your time around. It's like, what can I adjust about myself? I'm trying to find the right way to put this. It's about taking responsibility for the ways in which you have allowed yourself to be in situations that have not been for your highest good, right? And with responsibility comes an incredible sense of empowerment, right? And that is what I'm feeling for you here. It's like, I'm not going to avoid getting hurt. I'm not going to avoid putting myself in situations where my loving and giving heart will, you know, get wounded. I'm going to be very present and very considered all the time about where I put my energy and what are my motivations and drives for spending time with this particular set of people. You know, if they bring value to your life and it's a value that you can perceive and understand and go, no, do you know what, being around these people is cool, then that's all good. If it's chasing validation, if it makes you feel like you're worth something when you're around these people, then it's kind of the wrong approach to it. Anyway, regardless of what it is, I think that you're coming to a level of wisdom here, Cancer, that is setting you up very, very nicely for the next stage, the next cycle that you're about to enter. I mean, it's literally here. It's right in front of you. Now, I have some cards of advice, please, for Cancer. Thank you. Goodness me, what an extraordinary set of cards. So we have, excuse me, we have Death, we have the Star, and then coming out in tandem together, we have the Moon and we have the Sun. This is extraordinary. You have 4 major arcana cards here as advice. What's going on with you now is absolutely pivotal in the story of your life, Cancer. There will come a point where you look back at this period and this will be the point at which you recognize that everything changed. Or maybe that point has actually already been and gone, you know, and now you're very much on the path of change. Because transformation is the watchword for you here. We've got this Scorpio energy in the Death card. It is all about a complete and thorough transformation of the way that you do everything, the way that you show up, the way that you see the world, principally of you. And there feels like an incredible connection to who you are that was sort of absent for the longest time, Cancer. For a lot of you, you've had to fight for everything. It's felt like you've had to fight for everything. Over and over again, you've had to fight for relationships and you've had to fight for your position in anything. And actually, it's nowhere near as aggressive as that. It's about standing in your own power, connecting to yourself and going, oh, I'm a fully sovereign being and I'm here and I'm going to do my thing now, thank you. My soul having a human experience. The Star is a card of Aquarius and it deals principally with notions of healing. Sometimes hope, sometimes wishes. But ultimately for me, a sense of connection. And I've gone through in other readings where I feel like that sense of connection is such a prevalent part of this Star card here. So I won't bore you with it again. But there's a rising sense of hope for the future. And you're being asked to keep your eyes on the stars. You know? In a figurative sense, of course. You know, or literal. It's up to you. What is it that you want from your life? What are your goals? What are your dreams? Because it looks to me a little bit like it's maybe time to go back to the drawing board and reassess what those things are, because I think that for a lot of you there have been these things that you have always wanted, whether it be, you know, fulfilling relationship and all that sort of thing, yeah, whatever thing it is, and it'll be different for each of you. But all of these dreams and hopes and wishes had their foundation in a different version of you, one that doesn't actually really exist anymore, and one that increasingly you're going to find it difficult for you to reconcile yourself with. You know, it's a part of you and it's never going to go, it's always going to be there, but there's an incredible well of lessons and wisdom from that experience for you, but it isn't really you anymore. It's time to go back and think about what it is that you actually really want and why you really want it, because I think that some of it might have changed quite dramatically. The last two cards that you've got are the Sun and the Moon. Now, the Moon is the card of Cancer, and if you've watched any of my videos before, you know how I see this as the non-conscious, the subconscious, the part of you that is kind of reacting constantly and trying to keep yourself safe, right? It's the bit of you that you don't see consciously. But by that token, if this is all of the above, then this is consciousness. This is those things that are up in the light for you to see. Those are the things that you can, you know, fully appreciate and understand and work with. What we have here is an incredible balance of the subconscious and the conscious working together, finally. And I mean, long may it continue for you, because this is an incredibly balanced set of cards here. You know, maintain your balance and make sure that you stay in touch with what it is that you have learned about yourself, and understand that it's a dynamic process too. You know, nothing is set in stone, and particularly not you. You are not set in stone. You are changing and you are evolving and growing all of the time. Keep that conversation open. And when something flags up and you don't quite know what to do with it, sit with it. Yeah, talking like internally. Often these things present as triggers and stuff like that. You know, a trigger is a really useful thing because it shows you exactly what it is that requires the healing. You know, requires the work on it. I think this is tremendous, Cancer. I'm so excited for you. I really am. It's true empowerment right here. And I'm here for that all day long. So I'm really proud of you. It's incredible. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.